Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wondered why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Wednesday night. The Slingshot Racing League is at Rockingham Speedway for 125 laps here. The UNO Throwback 125 is a special place, a special racetrack. Rockingham has a lot of history, a lot of prestige. You're going to see the best of the best here in Slingshot run this place tonight. We've got a lot of great drivers out here. Some returning faces from your favorite Slingshot leagues have decided to make an appearance here tonight, but we'll get more into that in just a few minutes. Got a lot to look forward to. My name is Sal Nicosi, up here in the booth with Colby and Sean, ready to bring it to you. Everything here tonight from the Rock. A lot of good racing at this track over the years, Sean. I mean, a lot of good memories. What do we expect from these guys tonight? There's going to be a lot to see.
Rockingham's one of the toughest races on the schedule. I expect 2-3 wide throughout the pack. I expect guys getting loose. I expect guys getting tight. A real driver's racetrack tonight is going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before the broadcast about exactly the kind of skill set you need to have here. It's easy to get caught out at this place. It's a roller coaster kind of a track. Elevation changes, different kinds of corners. You've really got to hold that wheel as we watch drivers get through qualifying right now. Everybody kind of slipping and sliding, trying to find their bearings. So it'll be a good one here as we continue through the night. We've had a great season so far here in the Slingshot Racing League. A lot of big points shifts over the last couple of weeks. Been able to keep up with who's in the championship lead. Coming out of the Texas Challenge, a couple other races we've had. Braxton DeWeese, though, has had a dominating season so far. He has found himself in victory lane quite a few times here. Josh Ward, Chris Smith, Ellis Thomas now up in fourth, Scotty Sabzac, Johnny Rapp, Chase Barry, Ryan Rose, Brandon Ayers, and Rye Jones in the top 10. Adrian Schumacher tied for that 10th place with Rye Jones, actually. So a couple of tiebreakers, and I feel like I say it every week, Sean. I'm a broken record, but for as many races as we've had, the points are still really tight. Maybe not tight up to the leader, but some of these battles happening throughout the points field. Not often do we see guys this far into a season tied up for points here and there as the year goes on. So really exciting stuff. Points mattering more and more and more as we get closer to the finish of this season.
They definitely mattered last week as well, with Braxton DeWeese coming out the big winner at Talladega, and both Chris Smith and Josh Ward running into problems of their own. So he was a big winner last week in the point standings alone, and let's see if he can capitalize it 2 weeks in a row and maybe increase that lead.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one to keep track of here tonight, as we're going to get a look at some stories to follow. We talked a little bit about Rockingham and what happens here. Track position means a lot here. If you can get out in front and start laying down good laps, that is going to mean the world. You want to hit your marks. Easy to slip and slide, as we saw some drivers in practice and qualifying just trying to get their feet underneath of them, their car, a good feel here. Not easy if you're not familiar with this track, if it's one that it's not regularly on your practice schedule. Pit strategy, though, as well. Sean, pit strategy always matters week in and week out, but it feels like it means that much more here at Rockingham. It's one where guys are going to have to really challenge themselves in terms of what their strategy is, so they can layer into this fourth story, which is weaving their way through traffic on these hopefully long green flag runs.
Yeah, if we get a lot of green flag runs tonight, that timing of that pit stop, if we do get to that point, is going to be oh so important and crucial to winning this race. The winner's going to have the perfect pit stop and the perfect time to make it.
We'll get everybody out here on track. They're running practice laps right now. Going to take precision, a little bit of luck, but somebody's going to have to be perfect here to walk away the big winner tonight from Rockingham. So we will throw you over, take a quick break, throw you over to the anthem, and we will bring you green flag racing, hopefully in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief. The very first AI Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wonder why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
All right, welcome back. We're getting cars up here on the grid, finishing the final practice session here. Everybody getting all the juice for the squeeze here at Rockingham, trying to get as much in here as they can before we set off for the green flag here tonight. Starting in row 1, it's Aaron Smith on the pole with Braxton DeWeese on his outside for row number 1. Row 2, we've got Josh Ward and Adrian Schumacher. Row number 3, it's Johnny Rapp and Brandon Ayers. Chris Smith and Ryan Hinkle make up row number 4. Row 5, it's Scotty Sabzac and Matt Kuntz.
Row number 6 going to be Robert Brose and Ryan Rose. Row number 7, Scott Druce and Laura Wiseman. Row number 8, Jacob Phillips and Brian Brobes. Row number 9, Randy Gross and Jeremy Dahl. Row number 10 is going to be Jimmy Moore and James Danforth.
Row 11, we've got Steve Vest and Rye Jones lining up side by side. Behind them, it's Patrick Colby. Sean, take a couple practice laps out here. He'll have some good analysis for us from the track tonight. Peter Stewart and Chase Barry making up row number 13. Row 14, it's Ellis Thomas and Nick Dezere. Row 15, we've got Zach Mitchell and Patrick O'Toole. And Paul Thomas rounds out the field there. Row number 16, starting in 31st. Well, these cars are pacing. We're getting ready to go green.
I out-qualified a lot of cars.
You sure did. I mean, you did pretty good. I know you took some practice laps here ahead of the race. What's it feel like out there for somebody who's run this track from the car to the booth tonight?
It's really slippery, especially going down into turn 1. Hitting your marks, getting into turn 1 is going to be crucial. There were a couple of times I drove in there just a little too deep, got really sideways.
Yeah, we saw a couple of cars in practice skating and skirting up to that outside wall. And it's something that is a big factor here at Rockingham. You can definitely get a little slippery. I guess Aaron Smith, who was on the pole, not on the grid right now, so I'm not sure if he just came out here to have a good time here tonight, but I don't see him on track right now. Good news for the field. Aaron Smith is someone who I was able to watch race in the Gen 4 car last season in the Wednesday night Slingshot Racing Series, and guy knows what he's doing behind the wheel. He is a savant at all things. Does those videos where he shows folks how to get around tracks the right way. He puts on a clinic a lot of nights here. We got a lot of great drivers. There's Aaron back there. Maybe he did a little EOL just to kind of get up and out of everybody's way. Guys who are fighting for full season points here. Very courteous of Aaron. But it's Braxton DeWeese and Josh Ward on the front row here as we get the pace car coming through turns 3 and 4. These two not just fighting for position on track, but fighting for points in the overall season standings. We've seen a lot of Braxton up here in the booth after these races. Has a handful of wins. Josh Ward going to want to put one in his pocket here tonight as we're getting ready to go green. Green flag is out. Barney, the flag man, doing it just right. And we are off and ready to go here from Rockingham. Josh Ward, Braxton DeWeese. They both get a great jump here. Josh Ward glued to that bottom side. Braxton able to clear him, though, on the top. Gets a good run off turn number 2. And they are off to the races. This place is so interesting, Sean. I mean, you're able to get so many unique runs here, depending on what kind of line you want to run, saving your tires, getting a good feel for the racetrack. I mean, these two already getting a little bit of separation from the field, but I think we're in for some good racing here tonight.
Rockingham is very much a multi-groove track. You can run the top, you can run the middle, you can run the bottom. And right now the bottom seems to be working for these leaders out front, kind of taking their time, letting those tires kind of heat up on their own. They're driving away from Johnny Rapp and Adrian Schumacher in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, it's a long night here. We've got 125 laps here from Rockingham, and if you're in the YouTube chat with us, make sure you're engaging with the chat. You're letting us know who you think's going to win. We've got a giveaway here tonight. A two diecast giveaway, Sean. I believe Byron and Bowman, a couple of Hendrick cars going out the door here, Slingshot Racing League tonight. So we'll get that popping off in just a few here. We got a long night, so stay tuned in as we see a couple of drivers there finding their groove. But these leaders are absolutely putting some separation between themselves and the rest of the field right now, as everybody's kind of just lined up. The train is on the tracks. Folks are just settling in, getting a good feel for what they want to do here tonight at Rockingham.
You got to let those tires heat up, and it takes a while for the top line to almost get going. So everybody's going to be running the bottom now. As this track rubbers in, the line will get wider and wider. But some guys, as they heat up those tires and maybe abuse them a little much, they're going to have to go to that top line maybe sooner than they would want to. As we see Josh Ward, big run down to the inside of Braxton DeWeese. Got that big run down the straightaway, maybe just using up a little more rear tire coming off of turn 2. And at the line, it's a dead heat, and they are side by side going into turn 1.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about track position being one of the keys here tonight. It's always a key when you want to get out and run away with this thing. But Josh Ward making some early aggressive moves here, trying to get the job done, staying as glued down to that bottom line as he can. He's going to get a nose ahead here on Braxton DeWeese. This time he's going to almost clear him here on the high side as they cross the stripe.
Ooh, contact for them going into turn 1.
Ooh.
Like Braxton just maybe got on those brakes a split second later than Josh Ward, almost trying to get in line behind him. I think Braxton was trying to get that run to the outside, maybe put that nose there, saw the writing on the wall, backed out, and then just a little bit of contact there, incidental contact. Don't think it was on purpose by any means, but a scary moment for the two leaders up front.
Yeah, a little bit of trade and paint, but no harm, no foul. I'm sure that's not exactly in what Braxton DeWeese had in his plan here tonight, but better to have that kind of stuff happen early on, get a feel for the car, where your car's sitting with the tires it's got, and how these drivers are running around. These two, Josh Ward and Braxton DeWeese, we've had the pleasure of watching them run mostly up at the front of the field all year long. It's been a great experience to see them put their skills on display here each and every week. It's Johnny Rapp, though, up here in 3rd place, making up some time. That 52, rocking a new paint scheme here tonight. He's chasing down the leaders. He's got to love the battles he's seeing. Braxton DeWeese now staying on the bottom side, trying to make that same pass happen on Josh Ward, as Johnny Rapp's got the best seat in the house. We're riding on board with him right now as he's creeping up on Josh Ward here, P2. These guys have been battling a little bit. Talk about getting the tires hot. Johnny Rapp's just been lying in wait, trying to see what these guys are going to do to each other while he's just kind of cruising around here, sticking it to the bottom, getting in a rhythm. Going to be exciting here to see if he can catch the leaders and give them a little bit of a run for their money, as Braxton DeWeese now starting to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Josh Ward. But just as soon as you get that gap going, it closes up in a hurry, just the way you want to run this track and what kind of line you want to have here. Just like you said, Sean, this is a multi-groove place you can race, and when you pick something that's comfortable and fast, it gets really dicey in a real hurry.
Well, one thing you saw right there as we were riding on board with Braxton DeWeese was the damage on the back of that 92 car. And it seems like Braxton caught him in quite a rush, and Johnny Rapp is starting to close in on that 92 car. So you might want to see if that damage on the rear end is going to affect that car's handling at all. So come back to further back in the pack, Ellis Thomas making a move to the inside of Patrick Colby. Ellis was one of those that didn't qualify, starting in the rear. He's already made up a pretty good amount of positions, up into the top 20 right now at the moment, trying to make a move on that 87.
Yeah, we see Ellis Thomas up 4th overall in the points. Ellis has had some really steady Eddie, consistent finishes throughout these races here on Wednesday nights. So doesn't always have to be a situation where you're winning a bunch of races. You can get your points. The points pay the same for every spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these drivers who haven't been able to get that checkered flag end up faring as the points continue to rack up here week after week. So we see Johnny Rapp now. He's really started to close that gap. He is not quite on the bumper, but he sure looks like he will be here in just a lap or two. Giving Josh Ward a little bit of a challenge. He's going to dive down to the bottom here, go side by side with the 92 just about as they sail off into turn number 1. There you go. A little bit of a slide job there. Controlled slide job as he's able to make that pass happen on the 92 at Josh Ward. Get on that bottom line, use that momentum, and now he's going to be chasing down the lead. That's the 52, Johnny Rapp.
This is a Johnny Rapp type racetrack. I can
Johnny
just
Rapp's
see him running good here.
Yeah, I mean, he's really had a good run of races here in the last handful. Did well in Talladega, and I think he did well again in Coda too. You know, races where you just kind of hang around long enough and you're getting yourself in good position. Johnny knows what he's doing back there behind the wheel. He's a veteran of this league.
Adrian Schumacher has also gotten around Josh Ward for that 3rd position as Johnny Rapp starting to make a move on Braxton DeWeese. Not something we get to say often, anybody pressuring that 8 car, but right now at the moment that 52's got something for him. Has closed in quite a bit. Maybe Braxton took a little too much life out of those tires, battling early with the 92. And the 52 of Johnny Rapp looking to capitalize here as Josh Ward's slide continues. He's going to be falling back to 5th place as the 81 moves up around him. Scotty's up 5 spots since the start of this race, showing a lot of pace here at the moment. This is a Scotty Sabzac type racetrack as well.
Yeah, this place is full of surprises. The roller coaster kind of experience you get here. Either you love it or you're holding on for dear life. And it looks like right now everybody's loving what they've got, maybe except for Josh Ward. I don't think that's a result of anything but that battling. Like you said, Sean, they were battling pretty hard up there at the front. So maybe some tired tires on that 92. And I think it's certainly on the 8 as well. Maybe not quite as tired, but it's tired enough to see Johnny Rapp now in the mirror of the leader, Braxton DeWeese. You see him just kind of calculated right now. Johnny Rapp showing him the nose a little bit. No, letting him know he can stick to that bottom line just a little bit better. He's going to try to do something here. Not quite. Doesn't quite have the run around the front stretch, but he's going to be chasing him around here all night long, I think. It's a good night to be at the front.
It looks like it's going to be a good night to be Johnny Rapp, showing a lot of pace here at the moment. All over the back of this 8 car. Pretty impressive here at the start. I'd say him and the 81 car showing the most pace here at the moment.
It's all comes down to when the tire starts to fall off, and we know that happens here at Rockingham. And when it does, it happens in a hurry. So certainly will change the complexion of the race as we go on here. Just about 21 laps or 22 laps this next time by here into this 125 lap race. I mean, these laps going clean and green thus far. Everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's as we see drivers throughout the field trying to continue to feel out where they are. That bottom line seems to be where the passes are happening right now. And further back in the field, Rye Jones in a different looking paint scheme. Rye Jones in the red 91 Dodge, Ray Evernham, Bill Elliott kind of looking Casey Kane car. I love that. I love that scheme for him. He's going to dive down on the bottom of the 21 there. That's Ryan Henkel. Go door to door with him here, try to get that position. That'll move Rye Jones up into 9th position. Firmly hunting down the top 10 right now, Rye Jones.
Yeah, I see that 91 car. I think of Bill Elliott. Won his final race here at Rockingham.
That's a good looking machine as he gets a little bit loose coming off of turn 2. A couple other battles throughout the field. Scotty Sabzac and that 81. Adrian Schumacher chasing him around. Adrian's had a good start to the season here too. Had that big win at Auto Club earlier in the year. Had some great finishes. Everybody just kind of moseying on along right now. Josh Ward behind Schumacher right now. That's for 5th spot. He's still hanging on to that 5th position. So Josh Ward with a little bit of damage, maybe a little bit of worn out tire. He's found that balance though. He's running that 5th spot really consistently. He looks like he's hunting down Schumacher here a little bit, maybe back on the offensive.
At 25 laps into this race, this is about that point in the run where the tires are almost like on ice. Your tires are all worn out, and now it really depends on who is the person who saved the most early on in this race. It's going to start showing up about this point in the run.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about pit strategy here, Sean. I mean, this is something as you talk about tires starting to feel slippery. What are these drivers going to be looking to come in and get tires here? This feels a little early, but something that's got to be itching the back of their minds right now.
It's itching the back of their minds, but I'm not sure many of them have a definite answer. This is, a caution-dependent race. You don't want to make that green flag stop unless you really, really have to. And you can go 90 laps on a tank of fuel. So I think the tires are going to be the subject of when these guys are going to want to make decisions to pit, never mind the fuel mileage.
We saw Josh Ward there make that move around Adrian Schumacher, puts himself up into 4th place. As Scotty Sabzac now on the back bumper of Johnny Rapp, who had a great run of speed up to the rear bumper of Braxton DeWeese, but DeWeese now getting himself out and away, a little over a second lead over that 52. There goes Scotty Sabzac down on the inside line. They're kind of door to door. Rapp trying to hang in there. He's going to tuck in behind him, though, as he's got another challenger there, Josh Ward, looking to make a move.
Maybe that 52 car just using up his stuff a little too much when he was racing Braxton here a couple minutes ago. And it's starting to show right now at the moment. He has really fallen off the back of that 8 car, fallen into the clutches of the 81. And now he's going to have to deal with that 92 with Josh Ward here in a minute.
Yeah, he's got a full mirror as he looks up at that 92 car, much less trying to chase down the 81. As there you see them lap over lap coming off of turn 2. A little bit of slipping and sliding, that time just enough for Josh Ward to take advantage, getting a better run of speed down the backstretch, carries that through turns 3 and 4. He's going to move himself up here into 3rd position. So Josh Ward, starting on the front row, fell back a little bit after some contact with Braxton DeWeese, but absolutely scratching and clawing his way back up to the front of this field right now. Maybe he felt like he had burned up a little bit too much, decided to sit back, save a little tire, not knowing when the run would come. There's Aaron Smith, who started kind of the rear of the field here tonight. He's up inside of the top 15, making a move on Patrick Colby there. Aaron Smith, many times over winner here in the Slingshot Racing League, the family of series. That's yellow 70 car. So we see Henkel there up on the outside. That's the 11 of Brian Brobst now making a move. That's Matt Kuntz. Yes, that's Matt Kuntz behind Henkel, looking to make that pass as well. So everybody kind of shuffling around forward to backward here. You see Kuntz kind of riding the middle groove through turns 3 and 4 there, about a half a lane up, and everybody getting comfortable here with what they've got.
Yeah, I've been watching that 70 car that you mentioned of Aaron Smith, and he's been picking them off one by one. Every other lap he's passing and catching another car, and he's running lap times just as quick as these leaders up front. So we know once he gets through this traffic, and at this pace he will, but when he gets through all this traffic and gets up into that top 5, he's going to be a big threat to these leaders up front.
Yeah, I fully expect Aaron Smith to make an appearance in the top 5 here tonight, if not contend for the win. He's still ripping around back there. He just passed James Danforth. He's getting ready to come around up to the rear bumper of Matt Kuntz. He just got around, that's the 2 of Scott Drost. He continues to march forward, but we'll check back.
Throwback paint schemes out here tonight. I wonder if it was a throwback weekend. We're just unaware, but a lot of old school cars out here at Rockingham tonight. Johnny Rapp in that K&K Industries car. You got this 81 looking sharp, looking like Kenny Wallace. A whole bunch of them out there.
Yeah, some good looking cars. We got the Schlitz Miller High Life kind of livery there, the paint job. We got the Petty Blue behind him, Laura Wiseman. There's some good looking pieces out here tonight on track.
Lauren throwing it back to when Richard Petty couldn't afford red paint.
Yeah, not even the STP red on the side of that one. I love that. That's a real throwback. So you see side by side racing here throughout the field. You got Brian Brobst now making the move on Robert Brobst in the 5. Little pack of cars. This pack of 4 here has been kind of trading, wheeling and dealing back and forth with one another as they've continued on here. Lap 36 of 125 as we come back around here. These guys are all battling it out pretty good. Hinkle looks like he's got a little bit of juice under the hood here tonight. Matt Kuntz biding his time behind him. See a little bit of wall contact there, just trying to hang on to the thing as those 2 drivers continue to go on. It's Matt Kuntz now making the move on the bottom of Ryan Hinkle, able to stick it in there just a little bit better. Gets a run of speed up there. Here comes Aaron Smith in the 70. We talked about him just feels like a minute ago. He's making a move here. He's got something for these drivers here tonight. And he's going to be on the bumper of the 21 here right now.
Aaron's already up 20 positions from where he started on the grid. And here we are, 37 laps into this race. Within a couple laps, he's going to be right into that top 10. He's going to be all over the back bumper of Ryan Hinkle. That's going to be for the 12th position. And there's 10th and 11 right there in front of him with Robert Brose and Matt Kuntz side by side. Brose really seems to be struggling, really running that high line. Once those tires start giving off, you have nowhere to go but that high line. You can make it work for a couple laps, and then you can just end up eating the tires up even more.
Yeah, once you eat them up here, things get slidey in a real hurry. Like you said earlier, it's like driving on ice. So we see
in the wall.
Oh, big hit. Up
Almost
against the wall there.
Down. Yeah, almost came down into the right rear of Aaron Smith. Lucky right there, but there's going to be some more tight racing. Oh, man, it's Ryan Hinkle getting underneath of Robert Brobst. Really, Hinkle had a weird line into the corner, trying to get away from Robert when he bounced off the wall there. Kind of started going into the corner, just a little bit off on the track position, and almost got into the 5 through the center. And there's some damage right there on the right front corner of Robert Brobst's car. It's not going to make it handle any better.
Yeah, no, that's real heads-up work, though, by Brobst to hold onto that thing and not come back down across the track and hang on to that car. Obviously not the ideal situation, as he does pick up some damage, but way worse if that thing gets sideways on the track and ends up collecting a couple with him. So that's real awareness from that 5, as he saw it coming apart there for a moment, and he's going to continue to chase down the 21. Gives Hinkle a chance to get into some clean air here behind Matt Kuntz.
It's getting interesting up front right now for the lead, as Braxton DeWeese has caught the back of the field. The 42 of Paul Thomas and Zeev Vest, a couple lap cars here. Always hard to deal and manage with here at Rockingham. The lap cars are, at this point, they feel a whole lot slower than the lap times that these leaders are running. And that costs Braxton DeWeese a lot of time up front. And here we have Scotty Sabzac and Josh Ward closing in on him for that top spot.
Yeah, patience is a virtue here. These lap cars, they make you learn it whether you want them to or not, as they're going to have to contend, find a place to make these passes. Lap cars always showing courtesy here, though. I'm sure they'll look to slide up out of the way as the quick cars come back around.
And right now, Scotty's having a hard time getting around that 42 of Paul Thomas.
Sure is.
He's going to go to the inside right here. Josh Ward right on his bumper. Josh being a little patient here, knowing that Scotty's going to have to get around this 42. And now he can set his sights on trying to get around the 81. And Scotty wiggles just a little bit coming down the front straightaway. But he's able to hold that position over Josh going down to turn 1. Yeah, trying to close in on Braxton, but Braxton was able to gain just a little bit that last lap as they were passing that 42.
Yeah, Braxton also able to get around Steve Vest there in that Pennzoil machine. These two cars going to have to exercise that patience to get around the 60. I mean, it looks like Josh Ward's been pretty well behaved behind his P's and Q's. He always is. Understands that this is a pass that he wants to make. It's just when can he make it? A time that makes sense, not to put himself in an adverse position. It's always interesting to see if drivers, how aggressive they want to get as they go through lap traffic. Do they try to use lap traffic as a pick? Do they try to, do something strategically that gives them that little bit of advantage? But it's Scotty Sabzac right now who's in the driver's seat, as he's making up a ton of ground on this 60 right now. We'll see that pass happen here as Sabzac showing his nose on the bottom. Vest gonna slide up out of the way.
Ooh, big moment for Braxton DeWeese, the 33 at Jeremy Dahl, into the wall hard coming off of turn 2. It's going to give some damage to that 33. You see him slow there on the inside. Braxton was right behind him and almost just barely got around him on the outside. Could have been a race ender there for that 8 car. But right now, he's going to have to take a deep breath and get back on that pony, because here comes that 81 and 92.
Yeah, Scotty Sabzac and Josh Ward, this is what they were waiting for. They made their way around those 2 lap cars. Here comes Josh Ward now on the bottom side, looking to show him his nose, maybe get door to door here through 3 and 4. He's got a good run of speed. They're going to be nose to nose here, coming across the start-finish line. As we see Josh Ward with the preferred line, he's going to slide it down on in there in turns 1 and 2. Scotty not quite able to match the pace there, and it's Josh Ward now moving up into P2 now over Scotty Sabzac. It's a good exercise in patience there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're iRacing at home, be like Josh Ward. He waited his turn until the moment was as opportune as it could be. And look at that run of speed he's got now, driving away from that 81. He's going to chase down Braxton DeWeese here, give him a little bit of a run as we continue on.
Yeah, he sat there lap after lap trying to get around the 81, just putting that pressure on him. Got close enough off of turn 4, was able to get to that nose to the inside and make the job done going into turn 1. Pretty good job there by that 92, and like you said, that's something that a lot of these newer racers can learn from.
Absolutely. To finish first you must finish. Most overused term in iRacing that always ends in disaster, but these drivers, they get it. They know exactly what they need to do here tonight to make sure they end up with a shot at getting a victory lane, or at least a shot at challenging the leader, Braxton DeWeese, right now. Lap 50 right now here as we come across this rapid. Lap 51. Braxton DeWeese still your leader. Josh Ward, Scotty Sabzac, Johnny Rapp, Chris Smith, Adrian Schumacher, Rod Jones, Brandon Ayers, Aaron Smith, and Matt Kuntz are the top 10 right now as we see, I believe that's a fresh set of tires on the 11 there coming off pit road.
I was just about to say the pit window's probably going to be opening up here very shortly, right around halfway in this race, coming up soon, about 10-15 laps. So a lot of these guys that are really struggling for those tires, they're going to want to come down as soon as possible, as we see the 13 and the 58 are making their pit stops right now. But caution is out on the racetrack. I believe there's an incident here on the front stretch. First yellow of the night coming out here at Rockingham.
It's gonna be a busy pit road. I saw that silver Red Bull car getting a little bit of air, getting a little bit of spin going around there. You see Bropes trying to come down. I believe that's James Danforth trying to stop that run just a little bit as he come down off the high side. The 31 car of Randy Gross getting collected in that incident. Unfortunate there. We saw the 5 get a little bit uncomfortable early in this race, slid up, hit the wall, had a little bit of damage. You see him up there just trying to hang on to her. Just not quite clear, that 88, as he comes on down and collects the 31 along with him.
Tough break for those guys that just made those pit stops, and Meatball served up for the 31 car. That's going to allow the rest of these leaders to come down and make their pit stops under yellow. Going to make the strategy easy for them now, knowing they can go the rest of the way on a set of tires. And great job getting around that wreck there by both Patrick Colby and Ellis Thomas. They were right on the back bumper of all 3 of those guys, and they were able to get around it with no problem.
Yeah, good heads-up racing there as we see pit road. It's a pit road party. They're going to be busy down there as we see most of the field. Everyone who didn't pit already coming down to get themselves a fresh set. We're going to be in for some really high-speed racing here as we get back now. Everybody comfortable with what they're doing out there. Now you're going to get a fresh set. If you're just clicking in to the Slingshot Racing League YouTube channel, stick around because this is not when the real racing starts, but it'll feel like a whole new race once we go back green here in just a few moments. Also, make sure you're entering yourself in that giveaway. Byron and Bowman, what is it, the 184th, Sean? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're
187. There you go. Yeah, this diecast up for grabs tonight.
Yes, so put your comments into the chat box. A lot of commenters out there tonight. We got Illinois Muskie, MRF, a couple guys are in here every week. Keep it up, guys. Get yourself in the running for that 187. What do you think about some trivia here as we're under caution? Might be the only caution of the night, the way that first run was looking.
Absolutely.
I'm going to throw it up there now. Which championship-winning Cup driver won his last race at Rockingham in 2003? Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte, or Dale Jarrett? So get your answers into that chat box. And like we always say here, Sal, right answer always helps you in that giveaway.
Always does. And if you were paying attention earlier, you'd already have the answer checked off tonight. So hopefully you've been tuning in all evening long. You're not just coming in to the broadcast for the trivia. The right answers always help. That's absolutely true, Sean, as we see Johnny Rapp, Braxton DeWeese back up here leading the pack. Johnny Rapp's had a great night here so far. Great run of speed. Maybe he chewed up those tires just a little bit, but he was really making some big speed on that first run. Be good to see how he kind of pivots, how he's running this race tonight now that he's on a fresh set and he's in a great position in terms of where he is on track.
Yeah, most definitely. Johnny Rapp having another great run, a podium finish at COTA. I believe he might have gotten a podium last week at Talladega, trying to go for 3 in a row here. But the one thing that these guys didn't want to see was Aaron Smith restarting inside that top 10.
Aaron Smith inside the top 10, but it's Johnny Rapp, Braxton DeWeese on the front row here as we go back green. Scotty Sabzac, big move to the middle, sees a little bit of daylight, going for it. Johnny Rapp way up out of the groove.
Something up
He's
with that
falling
52
back
car.
in a hurry.
Yeah, he got really loose there into the restart zone. Not sure what's going on with that 52. It's almost like he doesn't have fresh tires. It seems like he doesn't have tires on that car. It's a little bit of a questionable call there for Johnny Rapp not getting onto pit road there. I don't think he pitted at all. He was the leader at the line, but I'm not sure the old tires are going to work out here at Rockingham.
Yeah, well, certainly not. I mean, you see how fast he has dropped back in the field, almost to the rear of the field already. Johnny Rapp, I had just made the assumption that he had come for tires. Not quite falling back as far as the rear of the field, but definitely impactful as he's just going to try to hang on here with what he's got. Braxton
He'll be
DeWeese
there shortly with that 56 lap old tire.
Yeah, that was a choice to stay out there on those old ones. Maybe he's feeling like he's going to take a gamble here. Another caution, perhaps, is part of his thought process here tonight. But based on what we've seen in the early stage here, these guys running really well, really clean. As we see Chris Smith diving down on the bottom there. Rod Jones as well, getting Adrian Schumacher there, 2 for 1. They're going to bump themselves up here. It's not over yet for Adrian Schumacher. He's got Brandon Ayers now looking to get a little action here, part of the party. He doesn't want to get left out. He's looking for that 6th spot for himself.
All over the back of that 82 car, putting a lot of pressure on him, trying to get that run off the corner, but these guys know they're going to have to go a long way if it stays green from here on out. So using up those tires is going to have to be a very conscious and decision that you really can't afford to make here this early in the run. And while we got the trivia up there, was to try to take care of that. A couple guys in there said Dale Jarrett. I guess they might not have been paying attention because the answer is Bill Elliott. In the 9 car here in 2003, Dale Jarrett won his final race, Talladega 2005. So
yeah, gotta stick around.
No cigar, guys.
Gotta stick around from the beginning. We were just talking about Rod Jones in that new car. That Bill Elliott inspired 91 running here tonight, as he's going to make a move to the bottom of Chris Smith right now, picking up another spot as he's hunting down Scotty Sabzac now. Sabzac drifting up just a little bit. He's going to leave a little bit of a door open here for Rod Jones. Rod Jones going to stick with him here, get the spot here off turn number 2 as they exit onto the backstretch here. Rod Jones looking like a man on fire right now, using those tires exactly as nature intended. Sabzac going to fight back just a little bit here, but everybody figuring out when it's time to go and get that track position and then settling in for a little bit of tire conservation. They will need it as we continue here. 63 of 125 complete from Rockingham.
Rod Jones all over the back of Josh Ward. This is for that 2nd position. Rod was up a lot of positions here early in the early part of the race, kind of settled into about 6th or 7th position, but kept up that positive momentum up through the field, and now he's all over the back of that 92 for that 2nd position. And if he wants to pressure Braxton DeWeese for this win, he has to make this move decisively and soon so he can start chipping away at that 8 cars lead, especially with such a long run left to go. You've got plenty of time to get there, but not plenty of tire life to get there.
Yeah, making that move on the 92. Talk about being decisive and getting the job done. He looks like he has got a full head of steam. Something is powering that car big time right now as he's flying down the backstretch up to the rear bumper of Braxton DeWeese. Braxton, this is going to be the first time really since the beginning of this race and potentially that last restart that he's really had to look in his mirror and play a little defense maybe and be challenged up here for it. As Rod Jones continues this really, really quick run through the field, and he is there right now, ready to knock on the door of Braxton DeWeese in that 8 car.
Kind of reminded me of Johnny Rapp's run last time, though, as Johnny Rapp closed in pretty quickly on this 8 car once he made the move for 2nd. About the same distance he closed in too, but it really didn't work out for that 52 later in the run. So if I was Rod Jones, I might want to sit here behind this 8 car for a couple of laps and try to follow him around and take it at his pace and maybe capitalize on a mistake later. As we saw the fall off from the 52 and the fall off from anybody that really got around this 8 car here earlier. So got to try to play the long game here. Still a long way to go in this race, coming across the line with about 58 laps to go. So anything can happen in that amount of time, but you also got to make sure the tires last that long.
Yeah, tire management, tire conservation, those are going to be words you hear a lot here tonight, as we've seen drivers burn them up, and drivers like Braxton DeWeese and Rod Jones right now just doing their very best to hang on to what they have while being as fast as they are. They've got a group of 3 behind them. Josh Ward, Scotty Sabzac, and Chris Smith all kind of could throw a blanket over those cars just about here. Sabzac might look to make that pass on Josh Ward, but like you said, Sean, do you want to make this pass, or how aggressive do you want to be on your tire? Do you want to just chase the guy around in front of you, wait for them to give you that opportunity? As Rod Jones might be looking for his opportunity sooner than later, as he's kind of hugging that bottom line right along the white paint here through turns 1 and 2 on Braxton DeWeese. Braxton running a little bit of a different line there, coming up about a half a car length through the corner as he's making that apex. He's still carrying a ton of speed. Braxton DeWeese, week in and week out, one of the fastest drivers we see on Wednesday nights. One of the fastest drivers we see in Slingshot Racing League throughout the series. He's had a great run here this season. He's going to continue to try to capitalize on that, as he's starting to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Rod Jones. That might be on the part of Jones now, just kind of hanging up and making sure he can make that late push. We've had a lot of great green flag racing so far tonight. No commentator's curse here, hopefully, but only that one incident that brought out that yellow 5-car. Brobst gave everybody that chance to come down pit road, as we see a little action further back here. Brian Brobst and James Danforth chasing each other around. Danforth in the 88, Brobst in the 11. You see them exit turn number 2, trying to get a little bit of a run, that 11 car down the backstretch. He's going to try to dive down to the bottom here. 11's lap down. Okay, so fighting for the lap back the old-fashioned way, perhaps.
Got a long way to go.
Yeah, got a lot of cars to pass here still, but can't get it done unless you get one done at a time, as he's continuing to charge up here through the field. He's got Ellis Thomas in front of him right now. Ooh, that was tight racing right there as they were exiting the corner. A little bit of a burp there maybe from the 11, as he saw how close that left rear was getting.
Ellis up into the top 10 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Ellis Thomas has made a career this season off of these top 10 finishes. He's always running consistently enough to get himself a great points day. Again, 4th overall in the points for that 38 machine right now. But it's Ryan Rose on screen there for a second. Oh, back to the leaders. Okay, sorry. We're getting ready for Rod Jones, heating things up here with Braxton DeWeese at the front of the field. They're slipping and sliding. Rod Jones looked like he had a chance to get to the bottom there on that inside for a moment. Backed it out there maybe for better. But you see the run that he's getting through the corner, Sean. I mean, he's got the speed. It's just a matter of when is he going to try to take advantage of an opportunity. Lap cars coming up here for the leader. Maybe this is it.
You know, the one thing about these lap cars is Johnny Rapp is one of them, did not take tires. And I believe there's a couple other guys here that did not take tires as well, trying to save a couple sets in the pits for late race cautions. They only have 2 in the pits starting the race, which means these leaders only have 1 more set. But at this point in the run, that strategy's starting to go out the window as these laps start ticking away faster and faster.
Yeah, hopefully everything stays nice and clean here. But if it's a strategy play for late cautions, maybe these guys that didn't take them know something that we don't on how the final stage here is going to unfold, as we see Rod Jones make his way around those lap cars as well. He's going to get a good run here back up to the leader. They're just biding their time. You see Johnny Rapp up there on that top side next to Braxton DeWeese. That tire delta is unreal. I mean, you saw these guys are getting lapped here who didn't take tires, so that tire strategy is everything at Rockingham, as we continue to see DeWeese just carve through the field. Slicing and dicing now, getting up to the rear bumper of Paul Thomas. That's Aaron Smith in front of him. Aaron was having a good run of speed there. Not sure what happened to him, but he's back in the mix here toward the rear of the field, saving a set of tires perhaps himself on that similar strategy to what the 52 and others are doing here toward the rear of the field. But we have Braxton DeWeese, who gets a little bit of a dive down here, gets around Aaron Smith easy peasy, and Rod Jones as well going to make that move as well. Smith going to stay to the outside line here.
what these guys needed was a caution about 10, 15 laps into the start of this run, so they can come down, use that extra set of tires, and then work their way up through the field that would most likely stay out and save them for the very end if needed. But they still have that set. We start getting a rash of cautions right now. It would work in their favor, but right now it doesn't look like that might happen. It looks like these guys are kind of settling in line, and with 45 laps to go, it's looking bleaker and bleaker by the minute.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to take a green flag stop here. Those cars are going to get harder and harder to get control over as the run goes on, especially if you're on those 50-some-odd lap old tires. Is I think Chris Smith make a little bit of a move there using the lap car. He gets himself up in front of Josh Ward for that 4th spot. But up to the front here, it's Rye Jones still trying to chase down Braxton DeWeese. These two peas in a pod right now coming across the line. They're going to have to really be patient with what they want to do, making sure they're just babying that tire just a little bit, because that's what it's going to come down to. This stays green. Who's got that little extra drive off to make that move happen late, to make that run happen late? So it'll be interesting to see exactly what the strategy is and if we will perhaps get a caution. We're clicking around through the rest of the field here. Everybody running pretty nose to tail throughout the rest of the track. So nothing too glaring right now, but we saw that first caution come out. They come out of nowhere, and you never know.
Could come out of nowhere, and especially if we get 3 or 4 yellows in a row, these guys are going to be coming out of nowhere on those fresh tires. So it doesn't look like it's working out right now, but sometimes you got to be the change you wish to see. I think if these guys are getting to a point where they have to make green flag stops, they might just want to spin the thing out.
The old Carson Hocevar trick, bringing out the caution when you need it most.
Exactly. And look how good Carson Hocevar's doing. Look at all the wins he's got.
Something to be all the friends, yes. Something to be learned from that type of strategy, from that type of racing. But hopefully everybody keeps their nose pointed the right direction here as we get further on in the run. I mean, whether you're trying to bring the caution out or not, handling these cars on old tires is definitely not a picnic. It is a challenge as the tire, the 50 laps into a run here. It's got to feel like you're just Tokyo drifting around some of these corners, babying it through, just trying to make sure you're not like tank slapping the outside of the wall and giving yourself that damage, much less bringing out a caution that's going to benefit you versus wrecking you out of this race as we get further and further in the run. Lap 86 of 125. These are just flying by, Sean. I mean, this race has been kind of nonstop the whole night here tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. But that battle up front for the lead is still hot and heavy. Right now, they got another lap car in front of them. That is not what Aaron Smith needs. It's a 23 of Zachary Mitchell. Aaron Smith was in that lucky dog spot until about a second ago when the 23 got passed. But I imagine that 70 car might be closing in on that 23 sooner than later. Maybe challenge him for the lucky dog position. It's going to be a big pack, a big gap in front of these leaders now to the next car. But Aaron Smith going to have to lick his wounds and come on in and take that green flag stop. I think this is the official giving up on that strategy.
Yeah, Aaron Smith said, I have had enough of these tires. As you see him coming down the banking there to try to get onto pit road here under green flag conditions. That battle for the lucky dog, though, is going to be one we're going to keep our eye on as we continue here. These drivers are not holding back. Even though they're not competing for the lead, they are certainly wanting to get that lucky dog spot given the opportunity if a caution does come out. Keeping our eye on Scotty Sabzac right now. Chris Smith making up a little bit of time here through turns 1 and 2. He's going to be in his mirror here, though, in just about a lap or two. An 81 car looking good out there on track. The old Kenny Wallace Talladega team. Love seeing that one. Not one we see often, but a good-looking car. He's going to try to keep it right where it is right now as he's coming around on lap traffic as well. Chris Smith, though, getting ready to apply some pressure.
Yeah, Chris Smith in that 28, not one that we've seen up at the front so far in this race. He's been inside that top 10 since the start, just biding his time, keeping the car clean, staying out of trouble. And here he is moving himself up the running order late in this race. Got by the 92 of Josh Ward, has his sight set on the 81 of Scotty Sabzac in front of him. And Adrian Schumacher's not far up the road. I'm sorry, Adrian's actually behind these guys. And then it's closing in on the 2 leaders up front for podium position. Here comes that 28.
And to get a look at what Adrian Schumacher's up to there for a moment. He's got Patrick Colby behind him, but Chris Smith, Josh Ward right now, everybody being pretty patient, I think, as they get around that lap traffic, being pretty patient here, just trying to understand what they can do with the tire they have and how much they'll have left to manage once they do decide to make that move. You see Smith able to hold that bottom just a little better than Sabzac, and you see how much of a difference that makes on the corner exit, as he was able to get a lot of ground back there for a moment. But Sabzac putting his foot to the ground, making it work as he continues to manage this gap, trying to hold these guys off. He knows they're coming. He knows they're hungry. Chris Smith, we know when he gets the opportunity to make these passes to give himself that chance to get this podium finish, he's gonna do what he has to do to make it work. It looks like he's got a little bit more tire maybe potentially as he's holding up, just trying to make sure he doesn't burn it all off here before the end of the race. If we do continue green here, lap number 94 this next time by coming around, they are just flying, clicking away. It's got to come up in the back of your mind if you are on that strategy. We saw Aaron Smith come down pit road, not what he wanted to do, but these other drivers probably thinking about it as well to come get some tires.
Well, if you are going to make that pit stop and shorten this last stint, cut it in half, you're going to have to make it pretty soon. I don't think many takers of the guys that didn't take tires last time around, because they all seem to be going pretty good so far. But if anybody back here in about 6th, 7th, 8th position might be feeling a little risky and want to take a little bit of a gamble tonight, that might be a smart gamble. Come down, get those fresh tires, go out there and rip and run.
Gambling on cautions is always a dangerous game. You never know when you're going to get them or if you'll get them at all. It certainly is a part of the strategy, but one that is riskier than most. So we see Patrick Colby here looking at the inside of Schumacher. He's got a good run of speed here. Not quite able to get to his inside. They got a little bit of lap traffic here to deal with. It's going to stay up to the high side here as they continue to kind of battle on here through the exit of turn 2. Continue to keep an eye on these guys as they try to run each other down. Patrick Colby, always quick here on Wednesday nights. He's going to get a good run up here on turn number 4. Almost this time.
Tough couple races for that 87 last time out at Coda and Talladega, trying to stop that bad momentum, that bad vibes, and change it up here at Rockingham, get a top 10, and get that positive momentum back in his swing.
Well, he's got that position back on Schumacher. That was an aggressive move just to slip and slide up in front of him. Close, tight margin there as he was able to make that pass work. He's going to start to drive away from that 82 in a hurry. He's got that speed. Brandon Ayers next, coming up behind here, waiting his turn on the 82 as well. Adrian Schumacher not quite going the direction he wants to right now, but just trying to maintain what he has. Trying not to fall way back in this one. But these battles, they mean everything for points, so you want to hang on to every spot you have. Patrick Colby's doing his best to gain every spot he can.
Getting to around 90, I'm sorry, not lap 99, lap 100. 25 laps to go. Your leaders up front, still Braxton DeWeese and Rye Jones. They're kind of swapping fast lap times back and forth. As Johnny Rapp makes a move there around Ellis Thomas. Johnny Rapp just came down, got some new tires himself. Probably feeling like Superman out there with that fresh rubber. Going to be, at least a half a second quicker than some of these guys on old tires.
Yeah, he's running back in 17th right now, lap down. But I tell you what, he's got to be having a blast behind the wheel right now. Just able to cut through this field.
Rye Jones in the grass on the front stretch, sliding through. Not going to be a yellow, most likely. Oh, he's come up the track a little bit, stops a little bit, and there is your yellow flag. Actually came out there at the last second, but a big moment for that 91 coming off of turn 4 there. And get it on the replay screen.
Rye Jones had a ton of speed trying to chase down the leader here. He just sends it off through turns 3 and 4. Gets up out of the groove just a little bit. Takes it high, grabs that wall, just a little bit of a tap. Sends him sideways and headed for the grass. This looked like it was going to stay green. He had great car control here, just trying to hang on to it, keep it off that inside wall. But that grass is like hitting a wet patch as he's trying to keep it on track, off of track, not to interfere with these other cars, but brings out that yellow. So if you had been hanging on to your old stuff, This is that opportunity. It'll be interesting to see now who comes down and tries to throw another fresh set on here with just 23 laps to go here from Rockingham.
Definitely going to shake things up front. I imagine most, if not everybody's going to be coming down for 4 fresh tires. And that's going to open up possibilities for Chris Smith, Scotty Sabzac, and Josh Ward sitting behind Braxton DeWeese. It's one less car they're going to have to deal with if they want to pressure this 8 car here. And with the short stint like this coming up front, these guys are going to be taking different lines, taking different risk. So it's going to be something to see here. I think this might not be the last caution of the night.
You said if we were going to get some, it might be a couple in a row. And now knowing that this is going to be a sprint to the finish, the likelihood of that ever increases as these drivers are going to start to put the elbows out. They know what this one means. They know what these points mean here tonight. A win at Rockingham would do tremendous work for some of these drivers that have been competing to try to catch Braxton DeWeese at the top of that points leaderboard for the season championship here. So we see Johnny Rapp. Looks like he's in that lucky dog position.
Yeah, Johnny's actually going to be the wave around car to get his lap back. He's actually 2 laps down on the field because he came down to make a green flag stop. It's a tough break for that 52 car. Showed a lot of pace early on. He's going to be coming back around to be 1 lap down, so he's going to need a couple quick yellows possibly to get back on the lead lap. But not the run the 52 needed after showing a lot of pace here early on, coming off of 2 big finishes at Coda and Talladega.
Well, he's still got time. Like you said, Sean, there could be a chance here where we do see a couple of yellows come out as the heat starts to rise, the temperature turns up, and drivers start to get a little more aggressive, a little bit of a slip and a little bit of a slide. We saw Ryan Jones. It didn't take much to get that caution out. Him trying to keep it on the bottom of the track there just brought out that yellow. So drivers like Johnny Rapp feels like they might be out of the running, but still in a position to maybe score a good points day if they can get the flags to fall the way they need. But Braxton DeWeese, feel like he's been our only leader here tonight. There have been a few brief exchanges here back and forth. Josh Ward was in the lead briefly as he battled with Braxton early on in this one, but Braxton's had a great run of speed here tonight, not giving up an inch for the most part. And he'll lead the field back to green here in just a minute. It's Scotty Sabzac, Chris Smith, Josh Ward, Adrian Schumacher, Patrick Colby, Brandon Ayers, Matt Kuntz in the top 10. With Ryan Rose, looks like Ellis Thomas also rounding out that top 10. His pace car is off, green flag is out, and it's Braxton DeWeese leading that bottom line with a great jump. Great run of speed there. He's going to set sail in turns 1 and 2. He's got Chris Smith, though, glued to that bottom line. Going to give him a little bit of a run for his money here as they battle to see who's got the most tire right now. I'm excited to see once these guys get close to one another. How aggressive do they get? What kind of moves do they try to throw? Track position is everything at this stage of the race with 20 to go.
Well, with only 20 laps to go, they're going to be running a little harder than they have all race long. So I expect some of these guys to get a little loose, to start getting a little closer in the doors, maybe less give and take. That's Chris Smith closing in on the back bumper of that 8 car, pressuring him into turns 3 and 4. Adrian Schumacher, also a big winner. He was running in the 8th spot when the caution came out, and here he is up into 3rd, getting around that 81 as well.
Yeah, Schumacher was getting chewed up there before that caution come out, so the big winner for him is he kind of catches that break. He'll watch these 2 cars in front of him kind of battle it out as well, but he's got enough to worry about with Scotty Sabzac behind him. Josh Ward, Brandon Ayers. Ayers has been looking to the inside, was looking into the inside of that 92 car, but able to kind of get away. And it's Josh Ward who's hunting the bumper of the 81 car now. So a lot of good moves here early on in this sprint to the finish. These laps are going to just fly by. So if there's ever a time to make the move, now is it. As we see Laura Wiseman, she might have got a little bit slideways there coming off of turn number 2. At 84 Petty Blue, she's trying to hang on to it there. Running behind Ellis Thomas.
Ooh, little contact to the back of Ellis Thomas. Kind of sends the nose all sort of wonky for that 84. A slide down the racetrack. Great job for Laura hanging on to that. Very easily could have been the caution Johnny Rapp needed, as he's the only car lap down. So caution is what he wants. He wants to get back onto that lead lap. As we come across the line, that's going to be 16 laps to go. They are still ticking off, but this battle for the lead heating up.
Yeah, this is it. The time is right to go right now. Chris Smith knows he's got to make this move or get close to an opportunity here in the next handful of laps if he wants to get around dominant leader here tonight, Braxton DeWeese. Braxton's really been putting on a clinic tonight, but Chris Smith certainly wants a piece. He sees the goal in front of him as he's charging down there through turns 1 and 2. Really able to get a good run on the exit there. Just absolutely ripping it around on the bottom line. These two going to be going back and forth all night here as we continue on. The night's getting short because they've got a little bit of lap traffic here up in front of them. Looks like that'll stay on the high side here, and they'll continue on. No drama involved. Chris Smith.
Remember last week as well, Sal, last week at Talladega, that 28 blew a motor early on in the race, didn't get many points out of it. Braxton DeWeese came home your big winner. He lost the points lead, and he lost a good chunk of points to that 8 car up front. So right now he knows if he wants to challenge that 8 car for this championship at the end of the year, this is the moment he has to capitalize, get around him, and start chipping away at that lead.
Absolutely. While we say that, though, DeWeese has been able to put a little bit of a gap here between them. Just about 0.4 of a second now between these two drivers as they continue to hard charging back and forth with one another here. Chris Smith really going to try to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Braxton DeWeese here this next time around here as they exit off of turn number 2. It'll be just 10 laps to go. So if you've got any tricks up your sleeve, now is the time. Go through the Rolodex, phone a friend, try to make something happen. Get those positions and those points. See Chris Smith giving a little bit of a look to the inside there on the entry to turn number 1. He's made up that gap. He's right on the rear bumper of Braxton DeWeese coming off of 2. Braxton just a little bit quicker down that backstretch, able to make that momentum carry through 3 and 4. These lap times are unreal for how long these guys have been out here, but Chris Smith doing all he can to try to just give himself a chance.
You see Chris seems to be quicker through the center of the corner. Braxton off the corner. Just different philosophies of how these drivers manage these corners and get through them. And it might be allowing one of them to win out here late, but that 28 is not going anywhere, especially through turns 3 and 4. He is much quicker through the center of that 8 car, closes in almost every time. And they are matching each other lap time for lap time. But with 8 laps to go this time by, the clock is ticking, and these tires are going to be getting hotter and hotter as he sits behind this 8 car in his dirty air, so he's going to want to get that job done pretty soon.
Yeah, and if the math is mathing on the battle box here, battle box predicts in 4 laps at the current pace. It'll be Chris Smith that does end up getting around that 8 car. Right in the
couple lap cars here.
Now. Yeah, this might play.
There it is right there. Opportunity for Chris Smith. Got held up by the lap car. I believe it's the 56 of Jacob Phillips. Got onto the nose of the 8, gave the run to the 28, goes to the inside, tries to pin him behind Brian Bropes, side by side at the line. 28's going to have to wait another corner. That was a big opportunity, and he did the most of it. Really challenged Braxton, almost got the job done. He's going to have to regroup, let those tires cool off, and try again.
Yeah, what an opportunity for Chris Smith there. They were 3 wide racing there with Bropes for a moment as they come across the front stretch. As these lap cars are going to play a little bit of a factor in this race. That was tight racing there for a moment. The 56 hanging holding up the 8 car just a little bit. That little bit was almost enough for Chris Smith to sneak by on the bottom. He threw it in there pretty heavy. As you see DeWeese now, though, back in that clean air outside of that, getting away from those lap cars. He's got a clean track in front of him. We're getting to a point now, 5 laps to go. It's going to take a whole lot. Oh, the caution is out.
Yellow on the racetrack down the backstretch here. It's the 42 of Paul Thomas. Big damage to the inside wall. And with the green-white checkered coming up, do you pit or not? Big question out there. See, you can clip the outside wall coming off of 2. Big contact with the inside wall. Blown motor, you see smoke, you see broken front wheels. Not much he could have done but tow in that instance. But maybe not the yellow that these 2 leaders wanted to see, and definitely whoever's making the decisions on the pit box which is probably these drivers as well, but it's not the yellow they wanted to see.
No, certainly not. Certainly not the yellow Braxton DeWeese wants to see. It's going to be interesting in terms of strategy here. If you thought you had one tonight, things have really gotten shaken up throughout the evening. Caution's not really falling the way that drivers may have hoped they were. It's going to work out for Brobst, though, in that 11. I think he's going to come around here and get the lucky dog.
He just got lapped on the racetrack as these guys, pit roads open this time by. Who decides to pit? Who decides to stay out? Up front, the 828 staying out. Looks like your top 5 all staying out here on the racetrack. Who's going to come down? I don't think many of these guys even have tires left. Only 2 sets in the box. I believe they might both be gone. Kind of would have worked out for those guys that saved that set if they were all able to stay on the lead lap, which they weren't. So right now that 11 car might be the only one with the set in the pit box. He is the lucky dog right now. He's going to restart in dead last on the field. He might be the only one with that extra set in there. But right now I think everybody's out, so the decision has been made long before we were talking about it.
It's sure going to shake things up, though, here at the front. I mean, if there was as good a chance as any for Chris Smith to get a piece of Braxton DeWeese and get this lead, these two drivers run each other really clean every single week. All these drivers run each other really clean every week here in the Slingshot Racing League. But if you want to get this win here tonight, this restart is going to be everything. Making sure you're getting a good launch, getting yourself in a position, especially if you want to beat a driver as good as Braxton DeWeese has been here tonight.
I'll tell you what, that 11 car is on pit road, and he took tires. So he's going to have a set of tires on that 11 car. He's going to want 5 green, white checkers. He wants all the green, white checkers he can get. Because
he's going to look like a rocket ship while
he's
running.
Superman out there. He's going to get that lucky dog restart 20th. He has a shot at a top 10 finish tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to see as we go on here, that 11 car, don't count him out for at least a good finish to the day. Who knows what kind of green, white checkered situation we may get here after this restart, but not a bad strategy if you're in the camp of a lot of cautions. That 11 car is going to have some juice behind it with that fresh set. It'll be fun to watch and see how he tries to cut up through the field, but it's going to be
we only have one shot at a green, white checker. This is going to be the one attempt of the race. He's just going to want them to junk it up big. But one thing about Rockingham is that restarting on old tires is pretty tricky. I'll be looking for some contact here through the field on the restart zone. One of these guys is going to spin the tires. I already know it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be up in the air at the front, but we're going to see some junk right here on this restart, I imagine.
Yeah, a little bit of slipping and sliding. We'll see how it works out here. Pace car is off. Green flag is out. And there it is. A little bit of slide there. Schumacher. Josh Ward able to jump down. Yeah, everybody just trying to hang on to it.
And there it is. Oh, a big wreck right there. It's the 16 getting up in the wall. He's going to hold on to it. That was crazy in the pack with some guys spinning the tires on the inside. Your winner out of that's going to be Braxton DeWeese. He's going to be coming across the line. White flag waving in the air. A great restart there by that 8 car and the 81. They're going to take the white flag. It's not going to end under yellow tonight. And I think Braxton's going to get home 2 in a row here, Sal.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese able to really set sail on that restart. Everybody kind of slipping and sliding here behind him. Scotty Sabzac, the big winner out of that group, but no bigger winner here tonight than Braxton DeWeese. Led a lot of laps here, and he comes across for the final time for the checkered flag. Big win for that number 8 car. Really going to set himself up in the points right here.
We got a big wreck after the flag. Ellis Thomas went sliding through the grass, came back up the track in turn 1. Ellis coming across the line here in 12th position. Maybe a little contact there with Kuntz. Hard contact up the racetrack. And, you know, race is over. We might as well junk them.
Yeah, they ain't going to use them again. Just push him a button, and it's a brand new car here as Ellis lost a little bit there going through the grass. But Braxton DeWeese, we've seen him burn it down a lot this year. And here he is again in that number 8 car doing it for another week here. I mean, this guy is unreal, otherworldly almost here so far this season. I mean, you got to think, championship favorite. Is it time to start talking about that right now, Sean?
I think he's been the championship favorite before all of this, just showing what speed he has in that car. Got that first win of the year at Richmond, and it's been pouring on ever since. Talladega, he came home a big winner last week. A race he might not have expected to win, came out on top, took the points lead. He's starting to run away with it here at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing everything he can just to put himself out there and not have to worry much the rest of this year. Braxton DeWeese. We're going to get these guys up here to answer some questions for us. Give us a little bit of an analysis of their night so far.
Real quick, Sal, wanted to do the giveaway here while we have everybody here in the chat. I think the winner tonight is going to be We Ain't Golfing 268. You are the winner of the giveaway tonight. Be sending you a PM there with the email in the chat. Make sure you send your email information over to these guys, and they'll get you hooked up with that 187 Hendrick set.
It's a good prize to go home with here, too, for the price of one in terms of adding diecast to the collection. Full piece here. So congrats to everybody in the chat here tonight. Glad everybody could join us. We'll get these guys up here in the booth in just a minute. But we can cut to a little bit of a commercial right now. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we will run you down the field here as we just watched Braxton DeWeese come across the line, winning this race here at Rockingham. DeWeese winning this one first overall, P1. Scotty Sabzac, great run here at the end on that slippery restart, finishes P2. Josh Ward scratching and clawing his way back up to a podium finish here tonight. Chris Smith ultimately running down the leader, but finishes fourth. Adrian Schumacher, Ryan Rose, Jimmy Moore having a good night there in 7th position. Patrick Colby in 8th. James Danforth with a good run here, 9th place tonight. And rounding out the top 10, it's Brandon Ayers.
Rye Jones going to be finishing 11th. Ellis Thomas 12th. Matt Kuntz 13th. Ryan Hinkle 14th. Peter Stewart 15th. Nick Dezere 16th. Scott Droost 17th. Laura Wiseman 18th. Zachary Mitchell 19th, and Brian Brobst only able to get up to 20th on those new tires.
And 21st is Johnny Rapp. 22nd, Chase Barry. Steve Vest finishes up in 23rd. Jacob Phillips, 24th. Paul Thomas, 25th. Jeremy Dahl, 26th. Robert Brobst, 27th. Aaron Smith, 28th. Randy Gross and Patrick O'Toole round out the top 30. 30 was it. 30 is all. And we've got him up in the booth here now. Josh Ward. Josh, glad to have you here. That was a heck of a race. I mean, you were all over. Started up front. We're battling hard there with Braxton DeWeese for a little bit at the beginning of that first run. Looked like the tires gave you a little bit of a hard time, but you fought back there. Podium finish here for you tonight. What was that one like from behind the wheel for you?
My strategy was just conservative. I wanted to get around Braxton, get a couple laps left, and just kind of fall back. That first round I fell back to I think 5th, and then just slowly worked my way back up, reeled it back in, and then the caution came out. I was trying to do the same thing in the second run and just kind of got bit by an untimely caution. And when everybody up front, all these guys are pretty good. Everybody's on fresh tires and we're all pushing it. It was very hard to get around anybody, but honestly, I'm impressed. I didn't expect us to get that many green flag laps, so happy overall.
Yeah, it was a lot of good green flag racing out there. The cautions seemed like they fell just a little bit later through the runs than drivers who were running that conservative strategy needed them to. But we saw the tire delta from up here as some of them were able to get good runs through the field throughout those green flag runs. I mean, tires, just everything here. Was there anything special you were doing to try to hang on to what you had there as you were making your way back up from that 5th spot?
I mean, I just drive slower. Was pretty much it. And then the last run where it was me, Scotty, and Chris, but I think we were all doing the same thing. So I could have sent it on Scotty a couple times there, but he's a teammate, and that also would have just burned our tires and let Chris drive away. So I just kind of rode in line and hoping things kind of played out, just being conservative, but they really didn't. I think I just got kind of lucky on that last caution where they spun their tires, and I swerved left so I wouldn't get in the back of them, and checked out for the corner a lot. Happy I didn't get into Chris getting into it, and paid off, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good heads-up play. A lot of patience all night long. Gets you a good points day here with this podium finish. Anybody special you want to thank out there tonight after this good run?
Yeah, Slingshot. It's a great league. Been in here for several years now, and continue to enjoy running every week, and really want to get one of these championships. I've been trying for years to get this done, and I've gotten close several times, but gonna keep pushing. I'll say Braxton, I mean, he's cream of the crop. If he wins it this year, I mean, he deserves it. He's won everything from super speedways and mile and a half, and gave him a run for his money at Coda, and he even beat me there. So the gap is widening.
Yeah, a lot of good runs for Braxton tonight, and or for throughout the year. But hopefully, we'll see everybody kind of throw what they have at him here at the end of the year, make up that gap here. Still a lot of racing here left in the season. Josh, congrats on the third place finish. We appreciate you joining us up here in the booth. Good points day for you. We'll throw it over to Sean. He'll be with second place finisher Scotty Sabzac.
Yeah, no Scotty Sabzac tonight. I'm actually going to be with the winner, Braxton DeWeese. Braxton, second win in a row, coming to the Rock tonight. So Braxton DeWeese coming home the big winner tonight. Can you replay this race for us after starting? You started up front, had a little contact early with Josh Ward, and took over from there and just held off all different kinds of Chargers. Replay it from the start from us.
It was a good quali effort starting second. I knew I wanted to start up front to try to get to that clean air as soon as possible. We were able to get to it right then and there and be able to lead the first lap. We had a pretty good battle there with, I believe it was Josh Ward. And there was a little bit of contact. I definitely didn't want that. I believe he said he checked up a little early on going into one, but either way, I should have been a little bit lower to try to go low like I was wanting to. So it is what it is. I was glad that he was still up there and was second right after that first caution. So glad it didn't affect him too much there to what I know. But yeah, it's all about just trying to keep that tire management on my mind and hitting my marks with that, and not only hitting my marks with saving the tires, but also on my entries and picking up the throttle and how smooth I was on the throttle. If you were a little too aggressive with it, you could definitely burn up that right rear, and you have to be hanging on the long run. And that first run, I was a teeny bit loose. I wanted to, try to conserve it a little bit more, try to not necessarily lean more on the right front because you don't want to take away some of that entry, but just try to take away the pressure and the heat off the right rear just a little bit. Just try to be a little bit easier on the throttle and try to be just a tad bit easier into the corner. It could slide a little bit if you took it too far, but nonetheless, we were able to hit all of our marks. There wasn't no real oddball cautions for our strategy. It was able to work out for us every time there, and we were able to get some long runs. So that definitely helped me, and just keeping that clean air was definitely a big factor. I feel like we had about 4 or 5 different drivers there challenge us, but we were able to hold them off and ultimately lead 120 out of the 126 laps and go back to back. So definitely a good points day, but just a good individual day as well.
A dominant win here tonight from start to finish, gaining up on that points league. Looking forward to any races coming up next?
The rest of them, I'd
say you're one to be out there winning them all. I'd say 3 in a row and 4 in a row is possible for you. Great job tonight. Any shout outs and love you'd like to give before you get away from the barcast?
Yeah, most definitely a big shout out to 3 Dips Ice Cream Shop. We've been having some pretty solid runs in this car, not only for this league, but also the Thursday league that we'll be running in tomorrow. Hopefully we keep this up. We've been having a solid run in all of our leagues, but we'll just keep trying to do the best we can, as always, and no matter what scheme we're in. But also a big shout out to Interstate Ford, Happy Karaoke, for being on the car for the majority of the year. In some of my other leagues, we had some solid runs with them, but also shout out to Allen's Arts Images, Steak Time, DeWeese Renovations, Elevated TV, Paid Leave, Wood Nickel Band, Ghost Train. They're going to be on the race car this year, the real one, so look forward to that. I appreciate Ryan over there for coming on board. I also shout out to Short Track Report, Scrum Tires Media, Evan Pieta Designs. We didn't have a throwback this year, but we still had a solid run, so glad we could at least show off our main paint scheme a little bit more. And shout out to our pizza house in Winchester, Indiana. Serve pizza at Winchester Speedway and also help us Roadster fellas. And last but not least, shout out to Brandon Oakley. He tuned into the live stream tonight. He said, "Send me your link so I can see you lose." So that gave me the confidence and the motivation to leave the laps we did and come home with the win. So I'll be rolling in the shop with my big hat tomorrow and giving him just a little bit just for the fun of it. But I appreciate everybody who tunes in. And not only if you don't support me, I still appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching us go in circles on the computer. And it was a good one. The setup was fun. Appreciate Randy for that. And hopefully we can go get the turkey next week.
Well, congratulations, man. Well deserved tonight. I'm going to send it back over to Sal. He's going to be with Scotty Sabzac, who is very much deserving of an interview from his second place run tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Looked like we got a hold of Scotty here before he jumped off. Scotty, appreciate you jumping over here, talking with us, giving us a second up here in the booth. That 81 machine, that's a good looking piece, that Kenny Wallace throwback. I'll tell you what, it looked good there, finishing second place. What did that look like for you as you were getting ready for that final restart? There were some hectic situations going on there for a second, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those situations where I should have been more aware about the tire spin and all that. But, it looked like on that replay, just kind of looking at it, everybody had a little bit of a disadvantage if you weren't starting first like Braxton was and spun a couple tires. And at one point, it looks like a bunch of cars were pointing towards the outside wall. And Chris kind of got the worst of it on the inside and created a funnel, looks like into turn one, and turned at least one person around. So, yeah, I'm kind of fortunate to be in the right place at the right time on the outside, which is a change for this season. And that's, I didn't want to be on the outside necessarily, but no, it worked out good on that last restart. It looks like that was, I thought it would come down to a restart. I thought there would be more of them throughout the day, but only a handful. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was some pretty clean green racing there most of the way there, besides the last little bit. That restart was something to see, but tires were the talk all night long. Was there anything you were doing different that just kind of gave you that edge to give you that little bit extra tire, or was it something that was, something you were trying to manage the entire race?
Just trying to manage it the whole time and see what other people were doing, because I didn't really have a good idea, and I was trying to take it easy and push it when I could. And then about halfway through the race, I lost some of the force feedback and some of that on my on the rig, so it kind of left me in the dark. But honestly, I think maybe that was a good thing, and sometimes I was feeling too much maybe during the first half of the run. So anyway, straightened it out in the second half and tried to ride the right front actually coming out of the corners and get that momentum. And honestly, it was just trying to stay a little bit lower than whoever I was chasing was kind of the name of the game. And passing was hard, so I figured if you could cover the bottom, it was going to be hard to pass, and that was pretty much the case.
Yeah, good strategy, one that worked out for you here. Second place finish tonight. Anybody special you want to thank out there, maybe watching or on the car?
Yeah, I mean, our teammates, Placeholder Racing, Patrick, Colby, and Josh Ward, Aaron Smith showed up tonight. Didn't have the finish he wanted, but so I'm just bouncing ideas off of them. So Placeholder Racing, thanks to those guys. Obviously, you guys for broadcasting Slingshot Racing League, for doing the heavy, putting all this stuff on, and Baby June Bug and Al and little Josie upstairs if they're watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll have two more weeks left and see if we can get a couple more top fives and have a good finish for the season. But yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome. Looking forward to these last couple of races here in the Slingshot Racing League here on Wednesday nights. I mean, it's certainly going to shake up the point standing here tonight. Braxton DeWeese seems like he's got it in his hands here leading into the finish of the season, but we'll have to wait and see. Those two races left to run here. Sean, anything special before we take ourselves out here tonight on Wednesday night?
Fun race tonight, impressive race, like Josh Ward said. Not as many cautions as we thought coming into this race. Usually this race is known as a little bit of a chaotic event. Not tonight. These guys put on a great show, great racing, great battles for the lead. Even though we had a dominant factor in Braxton DeWeese, he still had to earn it, and he still had lots of pressure coming from behind from start to finish. So I'd say it's a pretty good one.
And we'll get a look at those points real quick here, as we've got Braxton DeWeese still leading the charge. Josh Ward 20 back from him. Chris Smith was hoping for a good night. Got a good night in that third position in points now as well. Scotty Sabzac jumping up a spot now too with that P2 finish. Ellis Thomas, Ryan Rose, Johnny Rapp, Brandon Ayers, Adrian Schumacher, Chase Barry, and Rod Jones still tied for 10th after this one. And it's going to be a fun one here the next 2 weeks as we get ready to close things out here on this season in the O'Reilly's Auto Parts cars.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, make sure you're tuning in. USA Speedway will be live next week, and then Wilkesboro to wrap us up here on Wednesday nights in the O'Reilly's cars. 2 good races, a lot of fun racing coming up here. These are going to be elbows out style fights to the finish. So we hope you're locked in. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, do it all. Stay in touch. Be a part of the Slingshot Racing League here on YouTube. Make sure you come back for these last 2 races because they're going to be barn burners. On behalf of myself, Colby, Sean, appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight. We will see you all next week.